So 3, 2, 1. You're going live. So, Sunmbul, thank you for coming. Let's wait for a couple of minutes, give people some time to join. By the way, how are you today? All good?
Yes, absolutely. Doing well. Thank you, Nilinduda. Looking forward to this session.
Yeah, I'm quite excited, I must say. I'm quite excited.
Same.
So we will just start at around 6:31, just giving
Sure.
1 minute to people who are still on the way. And
It's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday, yeah. Yeah, I see people have slowly started coming in. Great. We will start our session in. So guys, who have already joined in, thank you very much for joining in. It's a great pleasure today to have this session. So we'll just start in maybe another few seconds. So the weather is changing fast, huh, Sunmbul?
Yes. Summer's coming.
Yeah. So let's just start today's session. Firstly, I'm quite excited and nervous, I must tell you. Doing a YouTube live is far more challenging than running an ultra marathon of 100 kilometers.
Oh, really? Don't say that.
By the way,
Sunmbul,
many thanks for coming in and not just running with Nilendu and the first ever Candid Conversation. I'm so glad that you are here, and I'm still can't believe that we are doing this. This was kind of a long dream to have this, and I always wanted to have it with somebody who has a multiple dimension in life, and as my channel says, it is not just running. So it will be running certainly, but there'll be a lot more beyond running. And when I look at you and what I've written in the description section, I must tell you, one of my colleagues said, well, I'm not very interested in running, but the description makes me very interested in this show. So truly, you are a very different and a very interesting character, if I may say, because you are a runner, but even before that, you're a mountaineer, and you're a single mom.
that's right.
You have when your partner passed away a few years back, you have helped your child to grow up, both the children to grow up, and you are also an entrepreneur. But I must go back 2-3 years or maybe 4 years back when I first met you in BRC, in Bengal Rowing Club. There's some race used to happen, that BRC marathon outside, and whoever the gentleman introduced you to, he said so many things about you in a very, this is Sunmbul, she's this, she's this, she's this. So that actually, and when you left and you were in a hurry, you said, hi, hello, let's meet again. You went, and the next thing he told me, those are fine, but end of the day, Sunmbul Didi is a very nice human being. And that actually struck me, So again, thank you very much for coming over. Before you move away, I have lots of questions to ask you. I'm very eager, but I wanted to talk to our viewers who are currently there that, today we'll be talking a lot about running, especially endurance running, long distance running, mountaineering. These are not easy sport. These are sport fraught with a lot of risk. At times they can be fatal if you don't understand what you are doing. So we would like to say that whatever we are doing, whatever we'll be discussing, don't start blindly following them. You should always consult your physician before taking up any kind of sport like this. So be very careful. And kind of a disclaimer, both Sunbul and myself, we don't take any responsibility for any untoward thing happening post our video or after you have watched our video if you try to do something of this sort. So that's kind of a disclaimer from our side. The other thing I would like to tell everybody, this is the start of Not Just Running and the first Candid Conversation which I'm doing. I have already planned two more. I have already talking to different personalities whom I'd like to bring in this platform and talk to them. It's not necessarily with running, so it can be very, very interesting topics. So what I suggest that why don't you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that whenever there's a new content in this channel, you get to know and you can watch it, even if you're not watching it live. So having said all this thing, now I think it's time to jump into the real show. So Sunbul, how all these things started? It's an intriguing thing. I want to hear from you.
Very good evening to everybody out here, and thank you so much, Nilinduda, for having me over. I've been such a huge fan of yours too, following your journey, and it was. I feel really honored that I got this opportunity to converse with you, interact, and there's so much to learn. I would like to wish you all the best for this series that you've started. Um, and let's hope we all learn from this for sure. Definitely, like what you said, what I'll be talking about is mostly my own experience, what works for me, what mistakes I made, and how I rectified them. So it doesn't have to be that it applies to everybody. We can take an overall view, learn, but listen to your own body. That is the bottom line. So that's something I would again reiterate what Nilinduda has just said, and we can go to more things. So my story.
Yes, your story.
How it all began.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, we all have our little stories. We all live a life where we are facing so many ups and downs, and where in fact, maybe 15 years ago, if somebody asked me that I'm going to ask you your story like this on YouTube, I would have laughed. How is that possible? Why would anyone be interested in my story? There is no story. So how things change, that is something I've also learned. And like Nilenduda said, I lost my partner, my husband. I've had a beautiful married life, two children, and everything was going as per plan. And suddenly it hits you, life hits you, throws a curveball at you, and you're supposed to, but life is never supposed to be fair. It's never supposed to be. It's whatever happens, just happens. And I had to pick up the pieces of my life and start a journey. So from a very dark place where I was not even sure of what's happening to me, I was very young with two young children. I did not know what to do. And going further into a low, I decided to pull myself up. I was looking for a coping mechanism in my life, One fine day, I just went to this gym in my club, and I met a school friend. She walked out and she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, I'm just thinking, should I join a gym or what should I do?" She said, "Just come, just enter, and you will be fine." Without knowing anything, without knowing a background, she just called me in. And, that was a turning point of my life. I joined this gym, and I think within a month, they were organizing a mini marathon of 5 kilometer. 5 kilometer, that's an insane distance. What are you talking about? Who runs? So then the trainer out there said, just give it a try, because if by chance you win, you're winning a gym membership for 6 months. And I thought, okay, that got me interested. I said, okay, why not? Give it a try. And I took part, and I surprised myself in that event, because not only did I win, I won across all the categories. And that was my beginning, the beginning of my running journey, my fitness journey, rebuilding my life. You could say all together, it just started at that point for me completely. Great. And there's been no looking back since then.
Wow, wow, wow. So, Sunbul, tell me something. You mentioned about this going into the low point and coming, bouncing back, and
Hmm.
wanted the outlet, where which
Hmm.
something kind of a, what should I say? You wanted something to catch hold of, which will take you out of this, the
Yes.
spiraling downward cycle which was getting into.
Hmm.
And you picked up running. And the first run,
Hmm.
you, I think, won that race, right? Among all.
Correct.
And
Absolutely. Yes.
but just before that, even during your college days, school life, have you ever had the opportunity to run, or you are a sports person in your younger days, or no, you are a bookish nerd, who studies only? What kind of childhood was that?
So childhood was fun. Two brothers. So there was living in a compound. We'd be playing co and cycling and all kind of crazy games, but not very sports centric. Just
Mhm.
everything, the fun you have growing up. And when I studied in Bombay, so my hostel was on Marine Drive, and actually that was the first time when I saw people running. I used to stand in the balcony and my veranda and actually look, and I would wonder, what is this craziness? You're just going on running every day without. I would just stand and look at the sunrise or sunset and see. Bombay had that.
Yeah.
So it was in my mind somewhere. It got into my subconscious somewhere. I never really acted on it that I've participated. Regular like playing, swimming, or playing squash. So fitness was in me. I knew some kind of little endurance worked for me. It was there. I never tapped it. I never got the opportunity, and I never gave it so much. You are in that humdrum of you're married, you're bringing up your kids, and you put everything in the back seat. You don't think about it. So I think it was much later when I was in that situation to pull myself. I said, I have to do something for myself. I need to come out of this. And this, let me give it a try and see what happens. So that's how I actually started.
How mountaineering, and why mountaineering? Like how this whole mountaineering thing came into play.
Okay. So again, it's something that I just stumbled upon. Um, so even another thing that I did for myself was the MBA. The MBA I could never do. I enrolled myself for a financial literacy program, and I was learning how to read balance sheets. And women need to, especially single women, they need to understand their finances a lot more. And this is was a huge challenge for me too. So in
Okay.
that process, I joined a place where I was learning, and there was a co-student friend. She was talking about an Everest based camp, and I
Ah,
don't know, those words of hers, they were ringing in my ear, something. And I just thought to myself, what? I didn't even have the courage to ask her what it is. I just kept it in me, and I looked it up, and I saw that there are people who um, go all the way to Nepal, and they walk up this trail to a point called the Everest Base Camp. It was a first for me, and it just struck me as something beautiful. It stayed with me, and I decided, okay, God willing, you never know. Let me think about it. It's like a kira that gets
yeah.
into your mind. And I started reading, and I came across this movie. This is a movie called Wild, Reese Witherspoon.
Mhm.
And that movie really resonated with me. Here was this lady coping with the death and some lows in life, and she just packs a bag and goes off for this Pacific Crest Trail,
Oh,
and
PCT.
that's her coping mechanism. The
Wow.
PCT, correct? It was her coping mechanism, and it really resonated with me, and it stayed with me. So the more I started reading, I found it so fascinating that I held on to it, and started making little goals for myself,
Okay.
small things. that one day, someday, never even knew whether I would be capable. But I added it to a wish list of my life. And honestly speaking, um, if you wish for something and you work towards it, things start happening, things open
Oh,
up. You end
absolutely.
up meeting people, you meet
The
somehow, you
world
end up meeting the
conspires
right
so
people.
that you can achieve your
The
goal.
Absolutely, exactly. It really happened with me, Nilenduda.
Ah,
I cannot tell you the kind of people I started meeting, the kind of things that started happening. It was like destiny taking me on a course, some big plan happening. So totally.
so how many mountains you have climbed and what is it? Are you a climber or a trekker? There are a lot of people don't, they keep, juggling between these two. Although these days I
Yes.
find a lot of trekkers, they go for uh, Everest climbing because Everest is becoming day by day as if a child's play. People don't understand how difficult it is. But,
Yes.
but are you a climber? Have you taken a particular climbing course or you just go ahead because you are genetically so fit that you can take on higher mountains. So if you can talk a little bit about your mountaining um, career, if I may use that word.
So I'm just an amateur, Nilinduda. You're just being too kind to me. Okay. So to test myself, I started with Sandakphu. That's the highest point of Bengal. And because whenever I read, I always came across things like the mountain doesn't forgive you if you're not ready. So go, and it doesn't suit anybody and everybody. So I decided with going for Sandakphu as I thought it's a beginner's climb, a trek, basically the highest point of Bengal. And I opened Facebook. I found a group going, completely strangers, and I signed up for it. That's it. Um, and at that point, it was so tough to explain to my family because in their mind, a trek means there's a mountain and you're going to fall off. Okay. So it was quite a challenge to explain to them that it's a trail, it's not dangerous, it's fine, I'll come back, I'll be back, you know. Um, so when I did Sandakfu, it was a group of ladies. When we started, I started walking and I realized that the higher I was going, instead of getting altitude sickness, I was getting better.
Oh, wow.
People say they lose their appetite. I was hungry.
Hungry.
I was getting faster. So the guide out there said, "Ma'am, आप यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो? अब जाओ आगे." They would send me off, and they keep a whistle, like if I went too far, they'd whistle and I had to stop,
Okay.
and they'd catch up. So it was a little bit of an indication. Okay, it's fine. I'm enjoying it and it's working for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then it came back to that Everest base camp, what I'd heard. That was the next thing I did. Even then, that time also, I really didn't know that there are so many more. There are mountains, there are peaks, there are summits. It
Mhm.
was always trekking. And when we did Everest base camp, there was a peak you had to summit if you wanted to. It was a Kala Pathar
Mhm.
to get the most majestic view of the Everest.
Mhm.
And again, I did that very quick. And I think I had an affinity, I felt. So after that, it was, the our human nature. We get greedy. So
One after
one
another.
more,
One after another. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
one after another.
Food was better than
So
me.
then I switched to Ladakh,
Okay.
and I love the Himalayas. I'm not, I when people say Kilimanjaro, I don't know. I just love my Himalayas. I can go back and again to it. So I decided to do the Stoke Kangri after that. That needed preparation. So coming back to your question, the trek to climb is a bit of a transition, and the difficulty level changes tremendously. Your focus has to change. You have to train for it because technically there are parts towards the end, the summit, where you're actually wearing your jumar, you're using the ascender, descender, some technical things. You have the pick, the ice pick. you're wearing boots with crampons. You are answerable for yourself and the group with you. You're tied together. So a mistake is, everybody suffers with you. So that was the transition. I wouldn't say it's complete technical like in Everest,
Mhm.
but you can say it's semi-technical for sure. And it needs much, much more preparation than a trek.
How many peaks you have done? I know some 6,000 peaks. So why don't you talk about what are those ones which you have already done?
So I did the Stoke Kangri. I
Yeah.
started after Everest. I went back. I went straight to Ladakh for the Stoke Kangri,
Okay.
and it was a very, very, very difficult climb for me. And I felt I needed to work hard. I
Okay.
completed it. I submitted and everything. But so to challenge myself after that, I saw, when you climb that mountain, you look around and you're seeing higher mountains around you. That's
Yes.
a that's the problem.
Okay.
So
Got it.
and then I it was such an exhilarating feeling. Again, I'll tell you, Nilendra, when you start the climb, when you do a summit push, it's always in the middle of the night. And you're at a very high altitude where you can barely breathe. So you're cursing yourself. Why am I here and what the hell am I doing right now?
Oh my
I
God.
don't deserve this. I don't deserve this. I want a cozy bed. You know, and you keep telling yourself that, and then there's this something in your mind that speaks back and says, come on, look what you're here for. How many people even get this chance and opportunity? Go for it. So when you climb that, and it's tough, your body is giving up, your mind is giving up, your body and mind together. I don't know, Nilendra, in one of our discussions you said something about the 40% rule,
Yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
they
No,
say
it's not me actually. It's somebody called David Goggins. He says that he's a
yes,
crazy man. He says that,
yeah,
when we say that we are going to quit, when you decide to quit, at that point in time, you still have 40% left in you. Well, now, having said that, again, comes with a pinch of salt. A lot of people say that David Goggins can do all these things. Everybody cannot do that. But it's to some extent right. Many a times, as you rightly
yeah,
said, when you are at the lowest point, then you come out. In fact, I wanted to, since you mentioned that, I will jump into this particular topic. While that was one of my questions, that how you what's your mantra here? I'm sure, like, this happens with me when I go for ultra runs. When I get into something called pain cave, and I keep thinking that, why the hell I'm here? And I'm almost on the verge of quitting. Yeah, there are times when I take a call when my body don't permit. There are twice when I have to take a call that, sorry, I will not, and I had a DNF. But most of the other times I have overcome that particular point. I want to
hmm,
hear what you use. Everybody, every athlete use some of the other technique to come out of that point.
yes,
So what's your mantra when you go to this very
yes,
difficult phase where you're almost like verge of quitting, but you come back?
yes. Yes, so all of us, I think, all the endurance athletes have faced it at some point. Very recently, I went for the Jaisalmer, my first ultra,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
50 kilometer,
Mhm.
correct. So in the middle of the run, I think I was doing really well till 25 kilometers. And at 25 kilometer, my calf just packed up, my quads and calf. I just couldn't move. I froze. I was just in a spot. I couldn't move at all. And this 25 more, that's half your race left for you. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the blazing sun, it's a desert. So your everything in your mind is, mind is it's a very strange thing. It propels you sometimes and it wants to hold you back also sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's a constant battle of your mind. It's why you're doing this. Stop it. Like I said in the mountain, why would you do it? Um, so I believe that again, that 40%, there is that reserve inside you. You have to dig deep. And in my case, my happy place is the mountains. I just love my mountains. I go back to the most beautiful things I have viewed in my life and I bring them back into my sight. And it gives me so much happiness that, that smile, it kind of propels me forward. It's your mind right now over your body. Your body is given up. Your mind that's going to take you further. So I look into my happiest memories, the best things I've done, my best achievements, that finishing line, the climb, when you reach the top and you see the sunrise, you're looking at Karakoram, you're looking at the best sunrise in the world. I get
K2,
goosebumps.
you see
I
sunrise over Karakorama, over K2.
Yes, I got to see the K2. It gives you goosebumps. You forget every pain.
Yeah.
I don't know what is pain then. What is pain? And it propels you forward. That's what has always worked for me,
Psychologist
Hemant.
use a very particular term about this. Let me just quickly talk about it. We call this flexing the confidence muscle. In fact, this is something which
Okay.
whoever I coach, whenever they go through this difficult phase, I try to tell them the similar. It's not only just during a race. You go through low point in your life, right?
Yes.
You go through low point in your life. You to go through low point when you're training. You get injured, and there are a lot of things happen, and you start thinking that you don't deserve this. You are not good for it. You
Yes.
you should get out of it. One of my very dear friend this year, she was doing 100 mile in the same place, where we were doing, and she had to quit, and she came back, and I was talking to her. She was also similarly, the day I quit, I said this is the end of my running career. But today, when
Oh.
15 days are gone, I'm thinking that what my next race. And this is
Mm.
something happened when why this is called flexing the confidence muscle. So every time you're
Mm.
going through this phase, you are supposed to go back and look at all the good memories, all the success.
Yes.
There are several times in your life, in different situation, where you have come across a very challenging situation, and you overcome those difficulties, right? And thinking about those memories, thinking about all those good things, whatever happens, that flex your
Yes.
confidence level. What is happening? Why you say that? Well, I'm not been able to do, because your confidence level comes down. End of the day, what drives you is your confidence level, the feeling that I can do it. And the other thing which a lot of people do, they say that break down the whole issue into small piece. I have got 25 kilometers to finish. No,
Correct.
I have got only 1 kilometer to finish.
No.
I do not have 25 kilometers.
20. Mm.
I have got 25 problems of 1 kilometer each. So let me
Mm.
see if I can take care of this 1 kilometer. So breaking it
Mm.
down into small pieces really helps. And lot of great athletes, when I've met them, when I was in Chamonix, where I had my UTMB DNF, which was one of the saddest point in my running career. They have come across and told me all these things. I have read a lot of psychologists, stories, how they have encouraged, sports psychologists encouraged, and every time I have come across this. So that's a great, I'm very happy to hear that you almost use the similar, thinking about, always look back,
Yes.
good memories, good thing. And I also, if I hear the other thing which you have done, which also has a psychologist use quite often, that is called visual imagery. When you're saying that when I finish, then what I see Karakoram.
Mm.
So this race, when I finish, I see the finishing line, I see the photographers, I see the adulation. I think about all those people who are in Calcutta, who are following me. They are feeling
Correct.
overjoyed because Sunmbul Didi has done another great achievement. So these things
Yes.
actually drive you, right?
Yes. Absolutely. For coming to back to the Jaisalmer,
Yeah.
uh, and as the run, like you said, I kept breaking it down. I kept saying, okay, I have enough time. Let me walk and run. So it was like baby steps back to like in the mountains where you just take 10 steps and stop. I just started that with no, I stopped thinking of the time. I stopped thinking of target. Let me finish this. I've come here to finish it. And it comes back. Your rhythm comes back. Your body has its muscle memory. You've trained for it. Of course, there is always a backstory. You are training for something. So it'll come back to help you through the difficult circumstance for sure. And the next 23 kilometers, you could say, went on into that good, and suddenly again the cramp coming back, good, cramp coming back, went on and on. And Nilendra, at 48 kilometer, we had to take a left turn. So it was all just a highway cutting across the desert. At 48, you take a left turn. And when I took that turn, I just think about it and I get goosebumps. Straight ahead, I could see the sun, this huge ball, orange sun, and how in the hell race, tagline was, "You will be chasing the most magnificent sunset." Okay.
Okay.
And I told myself, okay, I'm going to chase the sunset. I'm going to reach before the sun sets for sure.
Oh, wow.
And your energy, and you were, it was a very different me. I was back into my rhythm, my joy, my happiness. You cannot imagine that the finish line waiting and the sun setting, it was just beautiful. So worth everything. The pain you go through, the suffering, everything, like I said.
And the
That
training, which you have over the year, over
oh,
the months you have trained for,
absolutely.
you feel like
Months,
you're just
yes.
waiting for that moment,
Yes,
that
yes,
moment when you take
absolutely.
the turn and you can see the sunset,
Yeah.
and there is no price for
And
it.
in fact, Nilendu, so somebody had sent me like a forward or what, So he was a mountaineer, and he very beautifully said that human nature, the vicarious pleasure we get out of subjecting ourselves to some crazy pain. In fact, the paradox is that the more the pain, the more satisfactory it is for us later when we retrospect about it. So we've gone through that. It For ourselves, we built a very strong, beautiful memory of achievement. I went through that, and I overcame that. So it's something all, I think every long runner or a climber or any athlete would identify with. Sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great, great, great. So, Sunbul, why don't you talk a little bit about your training program? How you train yourself for a particular run, and also linked to that will be, what are your goals? Like, is your training is always just like that training, or it is linked to a particular goal? So I want to mix these two things. Talk a little bit about how you plan your goal. Do you, first question is, do you actually do a goal setting? Do you have a short term, long term, medium term, any kind of goals? And then do you do a training, or you're just trained to keep yourself fit? Whatever comes on your way, you jump into it and go for it. So how do you do this?
Okay, so for me, it's very important to have certain. I have goals, and I personally like to keep a 5-year horizon for it. So whether it is 40 to 45, I'm 48 right now, to up to the age of 50, I've planned some things. So if I have these goals in place, then I put them into the year I want to achieve, because I do not like to jump to any event that comes my way. I cannot do that. For me, I will choose what I want to do and work towards it. When it comes to training, Nilenduda, I always tell myself I should be mountain ready or run ready.
Hmm.
And my fitness is a part of my life. So I incorporate it in my daily life, whether it is strength training or it is running or cross training. It can be swimming or squash, anything. But if the event is very specific, then a few months before that, the training is more specific for that. So if I'm going for a climb,
Hmm.
then definitely I will be doing more of stair climbing, or I would be taking a heavy load backpack and walking. So I will twist and turn it around to what that event is. But throughout the year, it is definitely, I'd like to be fit at all times.
Yeah.
And events, I choose very few. I don't, I choose maybe one run in a year and a climb in a year, and that's it. I don't do too many at all. I don't believe in that. For me, it's be one or two events in a year.
So
That's
this
how I like it.
This is so important. I really like it. What you said, that any reason why I'm dying to give you a reason, but I want to hear from you. That you're choosing one event, the goal event of the year.
Yes, correct.
Why is it so? Why not three events? Why it is one event? What is the story behind it?
First of all, I feel it's very important. Say, suppose I've chosen a marathon, a 42-kilometer distance.
Yeah.
So the training for that is very different from a 5 or a 21 or an ultra. So I will put my heart and soul into that entirely. And for me, at my age, it's very important for me to take care of my body. I want to run for the rest of my life. I don't want to crash. So recovery, nutrition, injury. These are the things are very important to me, and I will not, to avoid making mistakes, I will choose one event, a run, a climb, and remain fit throughout. For me, it is very important, and it's very satisfying. You choose one, you work towards that one. It's one target for you instead of focusing on so many. Choose one and let that be your special. So right now, I plan. I was hoping to go for the Boston, but unfortunately, the circumstances are not with due to COVID. Again, it's taken a back seat.
Yeah.
So again, I'd like to say things need not go your way, which is fine. So you don't stop your training and you give up. Ye nahi hua, to I can never do it. It's okay. See the what you can do, what is available to you. Make the best of that. Definitely.
No, this is so nice. But have you ever thought about doing, or did you ever, while you're training, these are some terminology I use: race to train and train to race. So what you said right now is a train to race. But have you ever done it race to train? Like you're picking up one particular event, which is not your the event, but you use this as a training race, like training for things like your nutrition planning, hydration planning.
Yes.
Have you tried to do that? Like, I'll
Yes.
do this
I
21K, not for my time
yeah.
purpose, but this will be
Yes.
my practice run actually.
Oh, absolutely. We use these events for that. So there will be a 21 that has come up, and I know my goal is a 42. I will use that event to keep all my whatever gels I want to take, or whatever is my hydration, nutrition strategy, my distance. So I'm getting a hydration supported run, a long run. So I could
Exactly.
I will probably ideally do my longest run on that day. If it's, of course, I'm getting a good taper period. So I remember training the run that I did to qualify for Boston. There was a 21-kilometer happening in a city. The temptation to go all out, controlling that is the most important thing in that. So I will definitely not run my race pace in that, because I'm practicing for my marathon. So I remember doing a 21, and then coming back and heading off for another. I did a 32 or 34 or 36
Oh,
maybe, because I saw that you were getting 3 hours was the organizers had allotted. So I opened my babe, gave it to them. I said, I'm going back again, and it's the best way to train for your long runs. Absolutely. So I've done it a few times, and I do recommend, if anyone does ask me, I tell them you must do this instead of going all out on that particular run. I do that.
during your training programs, like what was the typical training week looks like?
That also depends on so many things. So if it's the 42-kilometer, then I follow there's a 16-week plan that I follow,
Okay.
which ideally ends with the last long run, three weeks before the event, and then a full taper. Oh, the taper 3 weeks are so difficult. When you are, the runner in you is itching to go out and run, and you have to stop yourself. No, it's okay. Rest. Taper. This is taper. But if apart from that, my run week is something like 4 runs minimum in a week. The Sunday is a long run for me, and Monday is a rest and recovery day, and say 2 to 3 strength training sessions definitely, which help me in keeping my maintaining that muscles for me, which when you're running you kind of end up breaking. So because
Right.
again, I have to think of my clients always. I have to think that I've got to have strong quads and strong, I need to climb too. So every time I think of the run, I think of that too. And I keep training myself with my strength for sure. I like to maintain them and I enjoy, like I'm a fitness enthusiast. So if you tell me, okay, you cannot run for this week, I will look for something else. I remember when I dislocated my shoulder and there was no way I could run. I would still be seen on Red Road wearing an oversized t-shirt, shoulders strapped on, just walking.
Ah.
Something, So
Keeping
just
the
happiness.
cardio going.
It gives me happiness. It just gives me a sense of joy.
No, that is very, very important. In fact,
Yeah.
you use these two words, and I must tell you, I'm an old style guy. I keep notes, and I for this program also, I have my notes in front of me, and I had one question that the happiness, joy, how important is it? Is it
Yes.
just physically fit? What drives? Um, long back, I put up a post about the why of running, and that was actually inspired by one of the videos. I have my favorites right all over the globe. So when it's come to YouTube, I've got two favorites. One is Billy Yang, another is Rick Roll. And Billy Yang had one of the uh, in one of the videos. I think it was Leadville when he was trying, and that video he said the why people go for 100 miles, and he tried to explain his why. And this why is for especially for the ultra marathoners. It's way beyond just a physical fitness or a run. I don't want to elaborate it. I just want to hear from you. Do you have a why? Like, what drives you? Is it something beyond simply keeping yourself fit? Is there something psychological here? Is there something spiritual here? What do you get? I'm picking up few moments from your so far, whatever you have narrated. When I'm on top of Stoke-Hungry, or when I saw that Mount Ketu and the sun rising over Mount Ketu, or the sun is reflecting. Sorry, sun cannot rise on Mount Ketu because the sun reflects on Mount Ketu. It's on the west and sun comes from the east. And when I'm taking a left turn, that moment when I see
Yeah.
the sun is setting on Longwala border, because you end in Longwala, right? On that side.
Yes.
So if I interpret, I find that is your why for running. But I want to see, is it my interpretation correct? Is it that few moments, that moments of joy, that moment, that few seconds, or maybe few minutes?
Yes.
What is
Yes.
that? What is that why for your all this journey, mountaineering? What is that why?
It's my, you can say, it's given me peace of mind. It's given me joy which I couldn't have thought. And I thought I'd never be happy again. I was in a phase where I thought I would never be happy. My happiness is over. And when I started rebuilding my life, and when I took to running, so you don't need anything. You just lace up and head out. That's it. That's all. It's you on that road, nobody. And you just keep running. And the state, your mind, your state is telling you, I don't know, people call it your endorphin and the happy hormone. I don't know what it is. There's never a why. It's just a state of mind. So, I always go back to Murakami, who
Oh,
says, "Na, I'll be happy if running and I grow old together." I think that's my running philosophy. I'll be extremely happy if running and I grow old together. That's it for me. It's sometimes you just can't put words to it. Like you understood. It's I keep those visuals in my head. Even Red Road, when I see the sunrise or when I see that Victoria, it just gives me so much happiness. I can see it again every day. If I see it, it's still giving me so much joy. So if you're getting it, something takes you to a happy state, gives you that, it's your mental well-being. It works for you. That's it. So, I don't know what it is, but it's just working for me. That's it.
This is very interesting because you know we all try because uh, I don't know whether this is the right forum to discuss this or not. Uh, there is life. There is
Mm.
life. There is lifestyle. Then there is hobbies, and maybe for a ultra marathoner, uh, for me, like running is beyond everything else, right?
Mm.
And at some place we find that running and life, they meet together, and your during your runs you face a lot of things. If I take your run stories, going through life, going through difficult point, going through the low, bouncing back, thinking about the good days. Isn't the life is same? We all in our life, in our
Mm.
personal life, we go through difficult times, we go through very hardship. At times we feel like, well, this is it, now it's only going
Mm.
down, there is no coming back, but we come back, right? As human being, we have this incredible ability to bounce back. Yes, it don't happen automatically. It happens through sheer willpower, certain techniques which you used, thinking about the good
Yeah.
things ever happened and all these things. But it always makes us, and every time we go through this, it makes us more stronger. That's the beauty of life, right? Let me get into a little bit of controversial stuff. I have started running from 2011. I have seen, and you correct me what I'm saying, I've seen there are a lot of runners come every year into the circuit. I've seen people, PBs all over the place. I've seen people
Mm.
doing excellent. And a few runners just disappear. They just go in
Mm.
oblivion. Although they started very in a very high, and then few runners, they stay back. They may not be the star of the day, but they stay back, right? They do keep doing new things. They keep running. So why do you think some runners just fade away? What might be the reason?
So it depends on the individual. There is something called a mental strength. There is a lot of pressure. Let's admit it. In our running circuit, there is too much emphasis on when people meet you, they'll ask you, what is your best timing? Invariably. Or you finish a run and they'll ask you, kitne mein complete kiya? So sometimes I feel the joy of running goes away in this. Why do you start running? I think all of us, when we started, it was never the aim was to a 5K, PB, 10K, but you start getting, all of us have done. Even I've been in that. You get into a rut of you have to improve every run, every event you need to prove yourself. So if you are one of those who are putting that kind of pressure on yourself that I have to do well every time, you will burn out. Rather just be very accepting. You can have a very good day, you can have a bad day. Things will not go as per plan, so it's all right. If you want to be here for the long haul, you have to accept that there is going to be a change. Your timing will not remain the same. You are going to age. Those things are bound to happen, and of course there will be pressure. That doesn't mean that people will not put pressure on you. I feel that a lot of times before the run, oh, you are coming back. Before going to Jaisalmer, there was a trophy. Like, of course. And when you win it, they say, "See, we told you." So easy. So
It's actually very
it's like
painful also. Huh? It's very painful.
it's very yeah, exactly. It These are things, but this is where your own mental strength comes into play. You have to be mentally stronger than the people around who you will get to hear things. Like I said, it's how you choose to act on it defines you. So don't let these things affect you. Run. If you're passionate about it, you will come hailstorm, you will go out to run. You will climb. You will not stop it. So
And it's the thing, another point which just while they're saying, do you
yeah.
think training right also one of the issues? Because when you start, your body just keep adapting. But if you're not
Yes.
training right, like the way you said that you don't pick up
Hmm.
every race, there are people they just go
Correct.
all race. Every run is a PB run. Every Sunday I have to
Yes.
put up a post which is say that, well, I have done a PB.
Yes.
Do you think this
Correct.
craziness, I will say
Yes.
this is craziness, this craziness also burns you out, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I agree. There are so many events happening. There will be events are meant to happen. There are organizers, they are going to throw and they're going to keep tempting you, with these runs, the medal and, the
Peter,
t-shirts. But it's
the
up to
ambassador.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Everything is out there to tempt you. You've got to make that choice. You've got to be intelligent yourself that, okay, no, if I have done a 21 kilometer and if I've chosen to do it in this year, maybe if I'm younger, I will do 2, 3 more events. But not every Sunday in the month from October to January, I see there is an event every Sunday. Would I like to do all those? I will burn crash out. How many PBs can I get? I mean, like, I, I'll be very lucky if I improve my timing by a second. You see,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
second here or 5 second there. That's it. That means a lot. And if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be kind to myself too. It's okay. But then what happens is in this mad rush and in this social media, that Instagram, Facebook, putting posts becomes so important that you you will end up burning yourself out. So it is a very tricky situation. I'm seeing a lot of runners into it. Hopefully, and yes, again, you're training. You have to be very particular with your event. There should be somebody guiding you. If not, you look up, you reach out to people who have done so many and just get that feedback whether should I be doing this or should I not be doing this.
And
Okay,
rest, and
and
rest,
yes, exactly. Yeah.
rest, recovery.
Give your body recovery. Give your body, look, even a Kipchoge, how many events would he do? He'll choose his events.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Definitely. That's human body for you. You may
Let's talk.
actually, even after a 42, I can go back and run the next day for
Yeah.
sure. But should I? That's the question. Your body is also saying, I'm feeling good and fine. But it's a huge, you don't even know what you put your body into. Give it that.
Yeah, we are heading towards the end of it, and before I have got still a lot of questions, but to all those viewers who are still with us, just two things. Please use the chat box. If you have any question, I will pick them up and I'll ask that to Sunbul. And don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that going forward, whenever the next events like this happen, you come to know. So quickly, the next part, nutrition. How important is it?
Yes. Nutrition plays a very, training comes with a nutrition plan as well. And you must give a lot of attention to it in the lead up to the run. Not only what you're planning to have in that race, you of course have to practice with those exact things to the t-shirt, the clothes you wear. You should be extremely comfortable in your clothes. If I'm running an event, I will wear those clothes, those shoes for every of my long runs till I'm comfortable. I will practice my hydration strategy.
These are
How
so
many
lovely words. These are so lovely words, and especially for people who are watching, who are listening. This is so very important. People simply don't
yes.
understand. I have seen people having drinks 2 days before the race and then coming whatever.
Hmm.
The way you're saying, and I must tell you, when I was a kid, I used to go for the school sports, sports in the neighborhood, and that excitement, keeping a separate set of clothes for that
Yeah.
sports day. We used to have those Bata kids, and we used to put some white liner on that Bata kid so that they'll.
Yes, of course.
So those days, Bata kids are the only sports shoes available. And when I grew up and when I started running marathon, my mom used to say, I see you gone back to your, those years. You keep the,
Mhm.
2 days before the race, you keep everything ready. But I felt that, that is very, very
Yes.
important. And since
Mm.
I could not stop myself, because this happens exactly with me, when you were saying that,
Yes.
preparing this t-shirt for this race, this
Yes.
hydration bag. Well, most of my runs are ultra, so I carry my hydration
Yes.
bag. What I'm going to do, and I start putting the same kind of stuff. Especially if you're running a
Yeah.
ultra in Europe, then they have a certain regulation. You have to carry some kind of clothing, extra clothing, rain jacket, several other stuff. If you're not carrying, then they will not give you the bib. There's something called gear check. You go
Yeah.
there,
Yes.
you have to
Yes.
do
The
gear check. You look at
mandatory
all your gear,
equipment.
they
Correct.
will tick. Only after that they will give you the bib.
Correct.
So I keep putting them and then start running about it. But this is so nice to hear from you.
Mm.
Um,
Yes. And
uh,
sleep.
Sleep, yeah.
Very important. Sleep. Most of us don't. We completely ignore it. You sleep for 3-4 hours and you think you're ready for a run. You need proper rest, proper hydration, and nutrition. Make sure you're getting a healthy balance. I mean, I have suffered to the point where I realized I had become anemic completely, and it changed. So I have my run stories in two parts. One part where I was struggling and completing Mumbai marathons, and the other part where I started taking care of my nutrition, understanding my weakness, working on it, taking care of it. And then here I was, getting much better at what I am. And it was getting easier for me. So please, every runner who is seeing this or no, make sure whether it's your hydration or rest and nutrition, it's all in order. Follow a plan, take care of yourself. Definitely, it'll work for you.
I just
Definitely.
take one question from one of the viewers, Sudeep. Sudeep has asked a question that how you train, especially a place like Calcutta, for uphill running.
Yes. He's right. Absolutely. Calcutta is as flat as a pancake.
Yeah.
And nothing can really nothing prepares you for what we faced in Jaisalmer. Jaisalmer was all downhill. Where do you get a downhill here? You will maximum go to a flyover and do repeats, but nothing prepares you or your body. um, Maximum what you can do is avail of what is around, mix your training. So when you mix your training, you do repeat on flyover, the long runs on the flyover, where you're getting some kind of elevation, do some tempo. And if you can, it's something I've noticed among Bombay people, Bangalore, they do head out for the weekend and they go. We do have a Darjeeling close by. Make that, if you are really serious about what you want to do, and you can, I would suggest take off for the weekend, make a group, go and train. Nothing like that kind of
Camp
training. You
there.
will
You don't
really
need
not
to
get it.
stay. Yeah, you don't need
Yes,
to stay in a
exactly.
hotel. You
If
can
you
just
work
camp
on it,
there.
it can happen. This is where we are suffering. And so we get shocks when we travel. When we go and take part, we will complete it, but we get the shocks of our life. So staying here, it is very difficult. You cannot completely copy the same, stimulate the same run.
Do you think
Definitely.
treadmill can be helpful in this kind of situation? Incline
Mm,
it very high and then try on a treadmill, just walk, or try to do little bit of run on a treadmill, making it very steep. The steepest you can make on a treadmill and do it.
yeah. Maybe it might work for people. It never worked for me.
Okay.
I'm such an outdoor person. I'm
Yeah,
a
it's
complete
very
outdoor
boring.
person.
I must say that's very boring.
I just love being outdoors. So, yeah, a lot of people do it. If it works for them, why not? But give it a try and don't go straight into that incline. Do it gradually. Otherwise, again, you'll see you'll have an injury. So, straight going onto a highest incline possible, heaviest bag in your back, and you start, take it slowly. Take some advice from people. That's what I would say.
so far in your journey, it is all planning by yourself. I know you are a BQ. If not this year, I'm sure next year you'll be trying. Um, you also coming up with Chicago in
Yes,
October. There might be
yes.
much more race. And now you're an ultra marathoner. I'm sure you're looking for longer distances. At some point or other, have you ever thought of having somebody who'll support you, a coach who can take the burden off you, or you think that no, best is you train yourself? Little bit about why not a coach?
Okay. So till when I BQ'd and I did it well, and after that, a lot of runs I did, and I was still getting BQ timings. So I thought to myself, okay, I've got here on my own, my terms. What's wrong with this? Why do I need anything further? And then I ran this ultra,
Yeah.
and it kind of gave me a reality check. And that was the first time I actually thought to myself that, yes, it is nice to seek that help. It's sometimes at the point you do feel you are probably stagnating. You would need a little extra push. So it's something that's come on my mind after Jaisalmer, definitely. That, the injury. So what happened again, I came in for a bit of a knee issue post. So I thought to myself, what if I had somebody who would tell me that, you know what, you didn't do this right, or you needed to take this break, or how about you try this instead? So you take that burden out, give it to somebody, give your troubles to somebody. I did think about it in this phase. So it's something that's been on my mind right now.
Very
But
interesting.
till that, I was very happy that I thought, oh,
No,
what's the problem?
personally, not because I coach people, but because I got tremendous amount of help from all my coach, and especially what happened if you're having a busy life. I know you're also entrepreneur, you have your own business. Um, so in a busy life, what happens, like if somebody else takes care of that burden of thinking,
Yeah.
preparing the chart, and then when you're going through little bad time, somebody on your
Mm,
side, some words of motivation, encouragement, talking about stories what happened in the past before the race, reminding you what all things you need to do. I am supremely benefited by coaches. I'll say coaches because I started first. My first coach was Daniel Vaz. He was such a gem of a person. But when I started doing trail and ultra trail, I realized that I may be looking forward. I had a chat with Dan, and then I moved
mm.
to Hayden, and Hayden was such a, again, Hayden is half my age, maybe, but
Yeah.
he's
He's a legend. I mean,
a legend.
I'm
Yeah.
going to ask you. This is a question I've kept for you to
Acha,
delve into that. So,
okay, let's but I before that, please answer to Pranay's a very, very interesting and important question. How important is pre-run warm-ups and post-run stretches? And Pranay, before Sunbul answer to this, you have also requested me to share certain videos at some point of time. It's Thank you very much for telling me this. I will certainly try to share some videos here about very simple, not very complicated, like the elite athletes, how they
mm.
do the pre-run warm-ups and the post-run stretch. I can share certain things. Sorry, Sunbul, your answer to this.
So Pranay, that's a very, very good question. Very important because we runners, let's admit it, all of us have gone through that phase where we are running short of time. We just get out of the car and start running, or we come out of the door and we start running, and we finish our run and we are back. All of us have done it, and we've suffered also. So it's very important to, whatever time you're giving to that run on that day, you please take out 5 minutes in the beginning and another 5-10 minutes in the end. Shorten your run if you need to, but please do the warm up, the dynamic warm up, and the cool down, which are the stretches. They go a long way in preventing injury. Um, we can think we if we are lucky that we've not got injury, it doesn't mean that we'll be lucky forever. It's going to catch up on us for sure. So make it a point, make it a habit that you do your customary warm up. Or there are a lot of videos out there. There's lots out there. Very very good elite people who are guiding you. Take some tips, keep that warm up, and keep that cool down as part of your the time you've allotted. If you're disciplined in that, you will go a long way in improving yourself and avoiding a lot of bad things that come up for runners. Definitely. So I have gone through all the phases, not run, not stretched, not warmed up, suffered, come back to my good old foam rolling, stretching, warming up, following a proper. So we are when we're running in a group, we are a group of runners in Kolkata. It is customary that when we start, we do a 5-minute warm up. When the run ends, we do a cool down together. And when you're in a group, it helps
In
definitely.
fact, in
So
fact,
somebody will remind you that, hey, we haven't warmed up. Let's start. Or listen, cool down time. So one of us reminds the others, and it just has to happen then.
in fact, one of my coach told me that if you do not have time, reduce the run, not
Hmm.
compromise on the warm up and the stretch.
Yes, exactly.
You have few minutes short. You are running short. You have to go to office. Don't do 12K. Do 10K.
Yes.
Cut 2 kilometers, but don't compromise on the pre-run warm
Hmm.
up and the stretches. Yes, you have some questions.
Exactly.
More than happy. Now role reversal. I'm happy to answer.
Nilendu Da, so I'd like to tell the viewers that Nilendu Da is such a brilliant ultra runner. I've
Then
seen him,
a lot of
don't
brilliant.
say that, the Buddha
I've never been
trail,
in any podium, nothing. So I'm not.
absolutely, no, 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 absolutely calm, peaceful, happy. Doing those distances, there's no pain. There's no pain at all on his face. The whether I did the Buddha trail or whether I did the 50 kilometer, the 50 kilometer just took everything out of me. I was like for days wondering why did I do that? And here I'm looking at him. He doesn't even talk in terms of kilometers, he talks in terms of miles. And I'm not going to say more, but Nilindu, the what is it? How do you do what you do? What made you do these insane distances? What keeps you going, and something about your plans. Please let us know. I mean, I would like the viewers to know.
The distance, I know it's. I saw one of my dear friend Amit was there a few minutes back. I don't know whether he's still there. He keep, you know, beating me up, almost like he almost beats me up about this my craziness. About he said that you are a distance junkie. I love distance somehow. I love it. So days happens when suppose we have decided to do 22K and we are just coming back from say Lilavati side and Bandra. And I said, hey, why don't we just do a little bit of more of the bandstand? He said, what the hell, man? We are supposed to do 22. It will finish. We'll finish in 22 when we start. Hey, there's another 3-4 kilometers. And let's do another 3-4. Let's do that. So somehow it is just maybe specific to me. I love distance. I am not bothered about time.
Mm.
I just go into trance when I go for me, it's kind of a addiction. I'll be very honest. For me, distance is addiction. The longer the distance, the greater the joy I get. When I register for a race, suppose Malnad, so my other runner friend Arjun, he will ask me, so what distance you're registering for? Why I ask? The longest one, right? So I always say that if I'm traveling so much for a race, why do the small piece? Let me do the longest one so that I can maximize the return. All the preparation going there, getting a hotel, travel, gadi, plane. So I must get adequate return. No. So the longest the distance. But the jokes apart, I love distance, and distance has always given me a little bit of joy. And what actually drives me is those moments. I cherish those moments. And it is not just the race. For me, a race, training, all the same, because race is an event where I come to know a new place. I come across new friends. I make new friends. I see different terrain, different geography. So that's why the race is different. But the joy is living on those moments, every kilometer, every minute, whether I'm feeling good, whether I'm feeling bad, that moment actually drives me. I'm very much driven by those moments. All my life I've driven by those moments. And that is in one word, I live for those moments. The more time I'm there, the more moments. Those moments which I capture as treasure for me, for my life. And that actually drives me. So I don't know whether I've been able to.
That's fabulous. Can I ask what next?
What next is obviously I will be training for. I've not done 100 miler for a very long period of time. I've done 80 because of COVID. I registered for 200 miler races over 20 and 21. All got cancelled, or there was so much of restriction I could not travel. So I'm looking forward to one particular 100-mile race. I'm not talking about it right now, but I will try to do 100-mile this year. Uh, you were talking about the short term, long term. So longer term, real long term, my goal is to obviously keep fit, run ready till my last day. And I will be certainly doing much bigger races. I have some dream like running an Arctic and Antarctic. There are certain races which I have in mind, like the Ice Ultra, which is in Sweden, which is 230 kilometer in Arctic Circle, Sweden, during February. So you understand?
February is. I don't want to understand.
They say it is warm when it is -5. And typically the temperature runs between -20, average -20. So 5 days is a stage ultra. I want to do that. I want to run Antarctica marathon. Very challenging because there's so many people wants to do that. And 3-hour waiting period. You put in your name into wait list. Like right now, if I put my name, maybe 2024 wait list, my name will be there. And traveling is a big challenge, but I want to do that. I want to do the famous 200 plus races in US, the Bigfoot, Tahoe 200, Moab 240, and one of the very new races which has come up last year is a Cocodona 250 mile. So it's a 5-day. Typically it takes 4 to 5 days. Most of these races, 4 to 5 days. Yeah, you have one lady called Courtney Dowater. She has done some crazy time, actually the year she ran, I think 2019 or 2019. She actually finished way ahead of all the male participants. And when she was being asked how much you slept, I think she did it in some crazy less than 50 hours or something like that. It's a 240-mile race. She said, I took 2 breaks. One was 20 minutes where I could not sleep. I was tossing here and there. Then I thought that I'll start running. And in between, I was feeling very sleepy. I took 2 minutes nap. So she just sat on the road and she just took a 2-minute nap, just closing down. And she has talked about it many number of times. I must say, I don't know, we are way ahead of way more than what we'll talk about.
She
said that those 2-minute naps are very powerful. And the same thing I heard from another gentleman called Harvey Lewis. In case you know, Harvey Lewis has a crazy world record of this backyard ultra. Last year, she won the backyard ultra and he ran for 84 loops. It's crazy. Means every loop is close to 6 point something less than 7 kilometers, and you do every hour one loop. Every hour one loop. So 84 hours continuously, right? So he said that the 2-3 minutes he come little faster. He ate and he just took a 2-minute nap. till the whistle goes up, he gets up and start running again, every hour. So this 2-3 minutes nap really are interesting. Anyway, so coming back to the plan, yeah, there are a lot of plans to do these things, but as of now, I typically try to have one road race and one trail race. I love trail more than road. Roads are crowded, roads are full of people, roads are traffic, this, that, and trails are sheer joy and sheer peace. Nothing else. And I want to do some fun run also. I think I talked to you about Medak.
Yes.
That's something which I want to do one day. For viewers, Medoc is a fantastic run. It's in France, in the province of Medoc, which is a wine province. It is it's typically a go as you like kind of a run. Everybody goes there with a costume. They wear costume and they run with the costume. And there are 8 stations in every vineyard, and every vineyard serves you water, but people generally don't take water because of free wine and cheese and sandwiches and sausages and all kind of food. So typically by that time you are finishing, you are tipsy, you are already high because you're taking maybe 7-8 glasses of wine while you are running, and eating food. And the end is a party zone. You end and you just with those costumes you start drinking and dancing and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Sunmbul,
so that should
for you, apart from these two races.
Sorry, what did you say?
I said that what next for you?
So part of my wish list is I would like to complete the world Abbott majors.
Okay.
One run a year. So that's over 6 years, definitely. And my ultimate dream is to complete the Pacific Crest Trail.
Wow.
The through hike. That's something I've promised myself. There's something I told myself you should do when you're 50. I don't know, when I saw the movie, it was 2014 or 15. And at that point, I said, I'm going to do it when I'm 50. And now I see, oh my God, I'm going to be 50. So I better start working on that. That's my goal. The Pacific Crest Trail is, like we've discussed,
so
it starts in Mexico.
You want to do a trek of PCT or you want to run PCT?
No. I want to do the through hike.
Hike. Okay.
I'm not going to, yeah. So it starts in Mexico and it ends in Canada in the mountains. And you have to give it a lot of time. It's a complete, means you have to detach yourself from a lot of things.
You know the world record for PCT?
I believe it was just broken very recently. I kept myself a few months, but this gentleman did it in what?
51 days. 51 days.
Yes.
Timothy also.
So the world is changing. I was a huge fan. I'm still a huge fan of Ed Vestier's No Shortcuts to the Top. That's the mantra I go by in life. He took years to complete the 8,000 meter peaks, the 14. And then you have Nimzai. He's brutally finishing them
7
like
months.
this,
7 years and 7 months.
So there you go. The world is changing. You've got to move on, adapt, change your goals accordingly. But I think, what you're passionate about in life is, you are led to it. It's not by chance. Your destiny leads you to your passion. So you go towards that, you take your story and you make it extraordinary. That's it for everybody. That's all I'd say. Look for that passion.
Last question. Three lines for the budding runners. 3 lines.
If I'd say just 3 lines, I would say, I just mentioned Ed Vestier's, there are no shortcuts to the top. There is blood, sweat, toil, determination, disappointment, failures all together. What you see is just the front. There is a lot of hard work behind. Make a plan, train for it and go for it and follow that passion, I would say. That's it.
Beautiful. Very plain, simple, to the point. Sunbul, it was great pleasure for me to have you in this program. Thank you very much. And this particular discussion, conversation, I'll remember in my life, throughout my life, because this is the first one. And first one always
Yes,
remain etched in
special.
one's memory. I'm sure as you keep conquering your goals, we will have another moment, another a day when you will be able to spend another an hour or so to talk about your experiences. And I'm looking
Yes.
forward to that. Big round of applause to you for all the things which you have achieved and which you are going to achieve. It's not my best wishes. I think the entire running community is behind you. You know that. Well, it's a
Yes.
pressure. I know it's a pressure, but please
Yes.
deal with it and go ahead and conquer whatever you want to conquer in life. Um, Thanks, viewers, for patiently listening to our discussion. Do give me your suggestions. Do give me your feedback. What went right, what went wrong, so that I can improve going forward in the next few shows, and I can bring much better encouraging conversations. Once again, request everybody to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you get to know whenever there's a new conversation happening. Before I leave, I also would like to tell everybody that I want to start something very small. One day in the week, maybe in all probability on a Monday evening, I want to come live and talk a little bit about something new which I've learned, which I've seen, which I've experienced, maybe an injury which happened to me, talk about that, or maybe something which I'm using a new shoe, I want to talk about the shoe. So I want to call it tidbits. I'm still not sure what I'll say, but in all probability I'll say that Monday tidbits. Why Monday? Because Monday is the day when, oh God, the week has started. At least something new I want to tell you, in the Monday evening, so that gives you a little bit of encouragement. Tuesday is the next day, you start running again and the new week. So that's about it from my side. That's about it from the production team, if I may say. My entire family was behind it, because my nephew has created the thumbnail, the photographs, everything. I have not done. My wife has provided all the kind of content, etc. So thanks to my entire family. My daughter has kept encouraging me to do something like this for many years. And see you soon. See you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.